Welcome back on Rapstar. So today we're gonna be showing you guys some cheap cases for the Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus. So as you know, the Galaxy S20 Plus is a very expensive phone. So there's a chance that you don't have that much money left for an expensive case. So just like me. So I'm gonna show you guys some cheap cases from SHOPEE Philippines. And again, this video is not sponsored by anyone, but if you want to sponsor us, any one of you there, we're open for that. So we've already unboxed the cases because the packaging are not that interesting, so we want to save you guys some time. So let's get to the first one. So the first one here is a clear case that is very similar. So I hope this one is in focus because it's a clear case. There, is it in focus? I don't know, maybe here, there. Is it in focus? Okay. This one is actually far from what I've ordered. I didn't expect this to be this thin, but since we have this one, so let's talk about it, because there are people who actually want this kind of case. So it's very similar to the free case that came with the phone, but there's some slight differences. So this one I bought for 50 pesos. Yeah, around that much. So that's just like what, $1 US. So it's very cheap. So I have no complaints, even though they sent me the wrong one. It's very far from what I've expected, but you really can't complain for $1. Okay, let's slap it on. Okay, there. So as you can see, there's not much going on with this case. So it's gonna protect the back from scratches, but this case is not gonna be protective from drops. So I'm just putting it out there just in case you're expecting this to be shockproof case, because it's not. So as you can see, there's enough resivity going on for the camera. So as you can see, my camera, I put an ESR protector on there, which is quite thick. So even if that's installed, there's still some gap from the camera, which is good. So you don't want that to get scratched, because that's very hassle. It's gonna ruin the quality of the camera. Then on the right side, as you can see, the buttons, they're not much going on in there, so the edge is still exposed. There's some slight resivity for the screen. So I have a T-Max case installed. T-Max UV tempered glass installed, so there's still some gap there, even if there's a tempered glass. So I think that's good. But this case is very thin, and I'm not a fan of thin cases because I want to protect my investment. I don't care about the extra weight, which is why I got this one over the S20 Ultra, because I want to put a bulky case on it. But because if you put a bulky case on the Galaxy S20 Ultra, it's gonna be very heavy. But this one, it's not gonna be that heavy. So on the top, then at the bottom, so there's not much going on. So let's get to the second case. Here it is. It's a silicone case, which is similar to the original silicone case by Samsung. So it's in black. So let's slap this on. So again, this case, I did not expect it to be this thin. It's not as thin as the first one, but it's still thin as I've expected it, because if you remember the silicone cases that are being sold for the Samsung Galaxy S8, those are quite thick, which I like. But this one I bought for, again, around 50 pesos or $1 US. So I really can't complain. But am I gonna use this? I don't know, maybe in the future. But you know, I'm not a fan of thin cases, as I said. But if you are, then let's talk about it. So again, there's a very generous gap for the camera. Wow, that's actually very impressive. If you're very conscious of your big camera glass, it's gonna protect it very well. but I don't think that it's gonna protect the phone from fall, but it's gonna protect it better than the first one, of course. Then there's a slot for the lanyard. The front, there's not much interesting going on in there, so but there's a gap. There's not much gap, so if you drop it face down, it's gonna crack your screen or maybe your tempered glass. And on the other side, so it's good that the buttons are separated, because when you're watching a movie and you want to adjust the volume, you want to feel, and you don't want to accidentally lock your phone. So at the bottom, okay, there's a nice big hole for the USB-C port. So if you have a replacement cord, which is quite big, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna fit on there. So at the top, so just a hole for camera. So the edge is, again, the edge is exposed. So if you always use that, the edge, this case is good for you. So do I recommend this case? If you want to protect your phone from drops, I don't. But if you're just after the scratch and all, it's fine. So it's very thin. So if you're a careful person, so that's okay. But in my case, I'm very protective of my phone, but I'm not gonna risk it. So maybe I'm just gonna keep this one. Maybe if I sell my phone, I'm gonna give it for free. So let's get to the next case. It's a very cheap case, around 75 pesos, I think, or cheaper. So that's around 1.5 US dollars, and this is actually one of my favorite cases among of all those that I've bought. So this one is very this is actually better than I've expected. So here it is. It's in the back is matte. Let's hope that it's in focus. Okay, the back is matte, so it's gonna provide a very good grip for you. It's not gonna smudge with fingerprints. So if you're into that, this case is for you. Then is there a gap? Yes, there's a gap for the camera. There's a slight gap in there, but there's also a gap here before the back, so the back is not going to be scratched easily. So there's a gap here, then another gap here, so your camera is going to be well protected. So if that's your concern, so on the left side, there's not much going on in there, but as you can see, the edge panel is quite covered. So if you don't use that much the edge and you just want to protect that, this case is for you. So if you drop it at the side, it's not gonna let your edge screen get cracked, which is good. So at the front, so there's not much going on in there, but yes, again, there's a very big gap here, which I like. As I said, I like thick cases that are very protective. So I like this one. The right, the buttons here, the buttons are actually interchangeable. So if you order the other colors for your phone, there's a midnight blue, there's army green, there's white, and there's red. So the buttons are going to be in different colors. So you can swap them here. So the buttons that we have here are in reddish orange. So I don't know if it's red or orange, but in kind of in between. Then the buttons are actually very nice. They're very clicky. See, they're very clicky, which I like. So when I'm watching movies, you know, when I want to adjust the volume, it's not that hard. It's hard to mistake them from one another, which I like. So then the support for the lanyard. So again, so this case, what I like about this case is that it's like glued to the phone. It's very perfectly fit to the phone. It's very, very good. I did not expect this case this good for the price. So I'm actually very impressed. So this is a case that I will recommend to you guys. So it's gonna give you some drop protection. But of course, it's not gonna be as protective as OtterBox, but OtterBox is very expensive. So if you're quite careful to your phone, this will be enough. So, okay, that's all. So let's get to the last case. Okay, so here's the last case. This is the Vertech Razor X. Let's hope that it's in focus. So there, as you can see, the back is clear. So I use this case when I'm outside and I want to show the people how nice looking my phone is. Of course, you just gotta appreciate what Samsung has done with this. It's actually a very nice looking phone. So there, so at the back, there's a very generous gap for the camera, which I like. So it's gonna protect your camera very well. Then it's gonna show you guys the back. So if you have the blue, it's gonna show very clear here. And then there's a grip on either side, so that's good. So it's very comfortable to hold. Then at the left side, it just says Razor X, so there's not much going on in there. So at the front, okay, let's hope again that it's in focus. So the front, there's a nice gap because I have, again, this is the T-Max UV tempered glass, so it's still gonna protect that one because this glass is actually expensive. So again, this case I got for around 300 pesos or $5 US, but actually it's very cheap for the quality. It's very comparable to the Spigen cases. The edges are cut perfectly. The feel is very premium. I did not expect this quality for a $5 US case. So at the right, as you can see, the button, volume up, volume down, and the lock button. But I don't like about this case is that the buttons are can easily be mistaken from each other. I sometimes hit the lock button when I'm actually just want to push power down. But okay, I really can't complain because this is a very cheap case, but it's very protective. So at the top, not much going on. The bottom, there's a big hole for the USB Type-C. So there, so very premium case. So do I recommend this case? Of course I recommend this case if you want a good protection for your phone, for drops and all of that, for your camera. This actually is a good case. So at the top, so you can see the corners have protection. They're like a bumper type, so it's gonna be very protective for drops as compared to the first three. So this is a very nice case if you want to show people how good your phone is. Then just buy this one. There's also an available case for the S20 Ultra if you have that one. So I really recommend this case. So but if you have any question, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. So see you guys on the next video. Thank you.